All right, this will be fun. Which ballpark design is worse, Tropicana Field in Tampa or the Polo Grounds? And just as a reminder, the Polo Grounds, it's 279 feet to left, it's 450 to left center, 483 to center, 449 to right center, and 258 down the right field line. So if you could pull the ball, because the walls went straight out, it was basically almost like a rectangle. The walls went straight out down the line. Um, it went from 258 to 450 really fast. Um, Very oddly shaped ballpark. But which ballpark would you say has the worst design?
Well, as we speak, they're both demolished. So,
True.
I I love the Polo Grounds because it's so iconic.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I love that. Tropicana is just a dump to me since day one. Again, another ballpark I haven't been in, I probably won't be able to
I've
get
been in it.
into.
Don't.
Yeah, and
It's not worth it.
I
It's a
just
terrible
don't
place to
know.
watch a
Like,
game.
I get what they were trying to do there, because you can't have an open air stadium in Florida. It rains at 3 or 4 o'clock every
Yep.
afternoon. You'd be washed out every night. Um, but I mean, yeah, I the Polo Grounds, those dimensions are the video game. Like
It's
those are create a ballpark,
yep.
and it's it's not a baseball. It's a football field.
It is.
Is
Yep.
what it is.
Yep.
And I mean, as iconic as it is, I think that is the most poorly designed baseball field. Again, seen some incredible moments. Willie Mays catch,
Yep.
Bobby Thompson's shot heard around the world. You know, Tropicana Field has seen Evan Longoria end the Red Sox season after
Yep.
2 minutes after they lost. Evan Longoria makes sure that the Red Sox don't go to playoffs. But I think I have to go Polo Grounds here. The dimensions are ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a weird ballpark for sure. So I'm actually going to go the other direction on this one and say I actually think the Tropicana is the worst design, only because the Polo Grounds, it was a weird design. You knew it was, and you had to play it that way. Like you had to play for the shape. You had to play for how you're going to pitch guys. Like you wouldn't want to pitch a right-handed power hitter inside. You wanted to force them to go up the middle and go to center. Um, so you had issues with the dimensions, which just forced you to play to the ballpark. Tropicana, it's the catwalks. Like
I didn't even think
you
about
can't
those.
control, like a pop fly goes up and just gets lost.
Yeah,
Like you can't. It's an element you can't play to. It's an element you can't even find a way to play around. Like if a guy just hits one up there, it goes up there.
right.
Whereas at least with the Polo Grounds, both teams are playing with the same dimensions. It affects every batter the same way. You just had to pitch accordingly. And I agree, it's one of the silliest looking ballparks you'll ever
Mm,
see.
yeah,
But it was like that. It was like that for everybody, and you just had to learn to play with it.
right.
Whereas Tropicana, you just don't know when the hell that's going to be a problem.
I
And
forget. Yeah,
it's funny. Old Tiger Stadium actually came up as one I was looking at because another kind of odd ballpark. We'll likely bring that one around on another show.
yeah. I think that I forgot all about the parts of the catwalk,
Yeah.
the white roof, white ceiling with a white baseball. Like
Oh,
you're losing it all the time in there.
it's like
Um,
man-made mess ups. Like
yeah, and it's a wiffle
it's
ball park because oh hey, like if the ball hits the catwalk in foul territory but lands fair, it's fair. If it
yeah,
hits in fair and lands foul, it's foul. But if it hits the third ring, it's a home run. Like I mean,
dumbest thing.
yeah. So I mean, I kind of take it back because they didn't have any like ground rules at the Polo Ground as you do here. It's like, oh, if I hit it off that second tree, it's an automatic triple, like in the
Exactly.
backyard.
It's
That's
like
exactly
old
what
school like neighborhood ball.
the ground rules when the managers come to home plate must take an hour because they're like, oh, hey, if the ball rolls underneath the fence but pops up to a catwalk, like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna say Tropicana because
Yeah.
they didn't build the roof high enough for it to not be an issue,
Yeah,
and it's an issue.
you created a regulation sized ball field with all kinds of problems because you didn't build it tall enough. Like it's these are like engineering mistakes that
Yeah,
have turned this into like a house of horrors for most teams. And where the Polo Grounds, it just is what it is, and you had to learn how to play in it.
yeah,
And that's one talk about home field advantage. I mean,
right.
that's a great example of home field advantage.
Yeah, but even Mother Nature said we've had enough and just tore the roof off that place.